This is the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose, where I strategize with business owners on how to grow and scale their businesses to hit their income goals. This is episode 218 of the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose. Today, I am speaking with Tai Goodwin, and we are going to be diving into making automation marketing simple with quizzes. If you have wondered if a quiz is right for your lead generation, so growing your email list with a possible quiz, then this is the episode for you. Tai is so knowledgeable when it comes to this. You're going to hear me actually start to want to exit the interview early because I want to pick her brain about how I can use quizzes in my own business. So make sure that you definitely listen through to the end of this episode. If you want to test out a quiz and see how it actually works, please send me a DM at Jenny_Melrose, and I will send you the link to Tai's quiz, because this is going to be one that you're going to want to see and start thinking about how it could possibly work for you and your business, your products, your services, and to include it as part of your marketing automation. All right, you guys, let's dive in. Hi, Tai. How are you?
I am fantastic, Jenny. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Yes, I am so excited to have this conversation about automation and marketing. Like, I just feel like it's something that gets missed. And I also feel like it's something that people hear this big word and automatically assume, oh, we can't do that. That's way too high level for me. But I'm really excited for this conversation so that we can dive into what that really means and what it looks like. Before we do that, will you introduce yourself and your business?
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for this opportunity to have this conversation. I'm Tai Goodwin, the CEO of the Momentum Agency, and we are a lead generation agency. So there are a lot of digital marketing and, marketing agencies, but I specify in helping my clients generate leads. And our claim to fame is that we help our clients turn their email list into multiple 5-figure paydays. And we do that through quiz funnels, through marketing, automation, and email marketing. And my favorite, which is content creation. We love doing that for our clients because most of our clients are too busy, right? They've got other things, they've got a life, and they have learned to be the boss in their business. So they want us to take that off of their proverbial marketing plate. And so we do that for them very, very happily.
Okay, excellent. Well, we are definitely going to jump into, I want to talk a little bit about that content creation piece. But before we do that, because I think people see the title and they go, ooh, marketing automation, way too big words for me here. Let's break it down. What is marketing automation?
Yeah, you're right. A lot of people see that as something that's for big companies, or I've got to know all these tech things. And here's the bottom line. It's doing your marketing in a way that allows you to work less and profit more. And what that means is finding ways to have things happen on autopilot so that you are not doing as much manual work. The simplest automation could be, hey, here's my calendar. I'm going to send you an email with times, and then you're going to send me an email back and say none of those times work. And I'm going to say, like, that's crazy, right? Going back and forth. What if you could just send someone a simple link to book on your calendar, and then automatically they get a confirmation email? You have just engaged in marketing automation. That's simple.
It is that simple for sure. And I also definitely think for people listening to, like, I have a lot of bloggers, influencers, women-owned businesses, that it really, when I think marketing automation, I think email. Because I think we have such this like block when it comes to email marketing that it has to be done on the spot, and everything. I have to sit there for hours creating this newsletter, and everyone knows I hate that word. I hate newsletters. Just write an email. Just have an email. So we'll talk a little bit more too about that. When we talk about marketing automation, what tools do you recommend?
Well, we take a look at marketing automation, and we actually break it down into 4 categories. Because the first thing is lead generation, right? Like, how can you automate your lead generation? And so, we'll talk about this later, I'm sure, but I always tell the story about when I first started using quizzes to generate leads. We built one quiz and one Facebook ad and didn't touch it for 4 months and generated about 9,000 leads. That was automated on autopilot. So you automate your lead generation. The next thing you want to automate is, how do you qualify your leads? Because all leads are not created equal. I'm sure you've experienced this, and so have some of your folks if you're, have a client-based business, where within 5 minutes of a conversation, you knew that this person was not your ideal fit, and you feel obligated to be on the phone with them. And it's hard, right? Because you've got other stuff to do. But you can actually automate how you qualify leads. And then you want to automate what your sales process looks like, right? Whether it's a PayPal link and it's delivered digitally, or, any other things that we can talk about for automating what your sales look like. And then how do you follow up with people, right? How do you follow up with them after, and how do you mark? And well, actually, I skipped one, right? So the follow up is all included in the sales, but there's also your email automation. Like, how do you automate nurturing things? And that's what you were talking about before with, I have to create the email on the spot. No, there's a way to set up automations and segmenting your audience and triggers and all that fun stuff that we love to talk about, so that it becomes easier for you to get the right content and offers in front of the right people. And then there's automating your sales. So those are the 4.
Yes. And I think that for many people listening, they have started thinking about the lead generation, although probably hesitant to do a quiz because it sounds like very techy. Mm-hmm. But we are definitely going to break that down and make it sound much simpler with you. But they've also started to create that automation as far as the email, kind of like a welcome sequence. Mm-hmm. Do you have a platform that you like to use for your email service providers?
Absolutely. So we're talking about tools. I'm going to preface this by saying this. Run from anybody who just wants to throw a tool at you without really understanding what your business is. Like, we always talk about the ways that you can figure out if a tool is right for you. You want to take a look at your tech savvy, right? Like, if you're not tech savvy, you don't want something complex. You want to take a look at, does it integrate with the other tools that you're using? Right? Otherwise, you're going to have to do all this third-party code, crazy stuff, and nobody's got time for that. The next thing is, you want to make sure, is it good for your budget? And then does it allow you to scale? So our favorite email platform when we use those criteria is ActiveCampaign, because it's got all the bells and whistles as you scale up, but it's very easy to use. They have great documentation. And they've got those elements that let you automate things, such as, if somebody goes to your website, you can set up an automation to send them an email based on what they did on your website, right? Really simple stuff, but you can do it very simply in that platform. Now, I know a lot of people, like bloggers and coaches, they always start with MailChimp. And, I get that it's budget friendly. However, there's some automation pieces that MailChimp misses. And a lot of people end up at some point having to leave MailChimp and then go through that process of moving everything over into a new platform. So if you can, start with something that can scale with you so you don't run into that problem.
Yes. I am a ConvertKit girl.
Yes.
I've been with ConvertKit for years and love them for the different elements they give, because like you said, MailChimp is very limited, especially when it comes to sales and products and services and all these different things. It's difficult to have all these different automations going.
Yeah.
But ConvertKit definitely makes it easy. ActiveCampaign, does it also have a calendar aspect to it as well, so that you could can they sign up for a spot for a discovery call or things of that nature, and then have a sequence that goes out to them?
No, but it does integrate with a couple of other calendar apps. Like, a lot of people use Acuity. Yes. And Acuity integrates with ActiveCampaign. As in fact, we had that set up where somebody booked a call with us, they would automatically add it to our email system. And then we'd be able to send them out additional reminders or things to prep them for the call. And actually, we're building out our own software as a service platform that does include the email automation and the calendar and landing pages for our clients, because they don't want to manage the tech, right? And so we found a way to put that all together for them.
Okay. And you offer that as software that people can pay monthly for? Is it live yet? Is it beta?
It's in beta right now.
Very exciting. What is it called? So, because this episode is coming out in March and we're talking in January, so maybe we'll be close to launching and can look and make sure to link to it.
It's Marketing Momentum. So our company is Profit Momentum, and our URL is profitmomentum.com, and we're the Momentum Agency. And so it's the Marketing Momentum platform. And it's all for example, we've got two things that we're launching with, which is the quiz to course and quiz to consultation, because a lot of our clients, they build courses. And that's what my background is in, actually. I'm a certified instructional designer. I spent about 20 years in corporate America designing learning experiences. And so being able to take you from here's a quiz to here's the email sequence to here's your calendar to here's the course you can sell in one platform is going to be so much fun.
Yes, that does sound amazing. And I have to definitely do my research and get on the list, because that sounds like just what we need for sure. Are there any easy ways to grow your list?
Well, yeah, the thing is that most people are just trying to get names on their list, right? It's like, I want names, but we really want quality people on our email list, because like you said, all leads are not created equal. So we always talk about the 3 ways to get traffic, right? Which is, I'm going to go with the easiest one, which is organic, which is what a lot of people do. So organic, then leverage, then paid. So, that organic stuff, a lot of folks don't reach out to people. Like if you were to ask your audience, how many times have they posted their lead magnet on Facebook or in their email signature or in their LinkedIn bio or any of those other places? And they're like, oh no, well, how do you expect people to be able to find it? So organically including that call to action, but that also means that you actually have to have a lead magnet. And I think that's where people struggle with too, Jenny. Like they're like, I don't know what to create, right? Or they create something that's just so far off, and so that it doesn't attract the right people. So yes, you can put your link out there to get people on your list, but you've got to start with a really good lead magnet.
Oh, 100%. And you talked a little bit earlier about doing content creation for some of your clients. And I love that you started with organic, because that's what I believe in. I feel like you have to know your audience. You have to start attracting some people in organically to then better understand what is really resonating with them before you go to leverage and paid. Because otherwise you're just throwing money at things when you don't really know what's going to resonate and bring people in and qualify them. Love that you said that it just brings numbers. Want something that actually brings like the right people to
Absolutely. Yeah. So we've got a few quizzes out there, because that's, what we do. And so we call it dog fooding. I used to work at Lead Pages, right? And we call it dog fooding, where we use our own processes and products. And one of our quizzes is about which quiz is right for your biz. If you answer questions a certain way, we will tell you that you're not ready for a quiz. We will literally tell you need to fund your funnel, because this is what happens to a lot of people. They create something. It could be a webinar, it could be a PDF download or a quiz, but they don't think of how they're going to get traffic to it. And so it just sits there and collects dust. So sometimes that's why we start with organic, because organic is, okay, let me find 25 people in my network that I can reach out to and invite them to my offer. Let me ask for some referrals. Let me ask people in my network who else they know. And putting that in place every single day, inviting people into your space, because once you get clients, then you can market. But it's really, I've seen people fall into this. I'm going to build my email list. And we know that's like a 6-week process, right? So you don't have time in those 6 weeks when you can just pick up the phone and you can start calling people and talking to people and inviting people into your space in order to get sales.
Yes. Can you give an example of a client that's had a successful quiz? I know I'm totally putting you on the spot. I think that would be
yes
for listeners.
Yes, I've got more than a few stories. We did about 20 quizzes last year in our first year as an agency, and it was very, very exciting. One of my favorite clients is a client who sells magnetic eyelashes.
Okay.
So it's e-commerce. This magnetic eyelash business is her part-time business. She's actually a board certified ophthalmologist. She's an eye surgeon. She loves eyelashes. And we built a quiz for her. She launched her business in February of last year. She did 7 figures in that business last year with a pandemic. And that quiz, I have the stats when we do our training, and I show it all the time. So it's not just a quiz, and that's one thing that people don't understand. It's not just questions and then that's it. There's a quiz, and then there are follow-up emails that we send, because we are nurturing that relationship. And I showed the graphic of for a 2-week period of time, the emails that we sent out to people after that quiz generated $23,000 in sales. I call that a success, right?
Yes.
And we've seen that over and over again. Another one of our clients, she's another e-commerce brand, and e-commerce brands are easier sometimes because they have a quicker turnaround time than along something that's like a $2,500 product. But we've got examples of that too. Yes. But the other e-commerce client, she had about 2,900 new leads generated in about the first 3 weeks of launching her quiz. Right. And so again, it's growing, it's adding people to your list. And those were service-based. Those were e-com product-based businesses. For me, my business was the service-based business. And that first quiz that I did, which got me into this mode of work, we added, like I said, 9,000 people to our list in 4 months. But that very first 2 weeks that I launched that quiz, I booked 2 clients and brought in $8,500. And I said, I'm on to something. All right. And then I've seen other clients who have used it to sell their books. Like one of our clients, she has a book. Am I allowed to curse on your show? I'm not sure I can say that. Everybody's audience is different.
Tiny bit, as long as we don't use the F word.
No. Well, it's the title of her book, and her book has been published in Forbes magazine, so I think I'm okay. So she's a pitch coach. She's been on Shark Tank, and she used to be a lawyer, and so she has a book called Bad Bitches and Power Pitches. And her quiz is, what type of bad bitch are you? And she's used that quiz to sell out copies of her book, right? Because they take the quiz and they find out which one, and then they get more information when they get the book. And so that was her first quiz. Now we just built her second quiz for her next book. So there's a lot of different ways, whether you're selling products, whether you're selling services, or whether you're selling books, that you can use a quiz to generate leads, to segment your audience, and to really get more data than just an email. Because I think that's the biggest thing with a lot of lead magnets. Like, I love a good checklist, right? Beautiful, love them. However, if I give somebody a checklist, all I'm getting is their email address. I don't know anything else about them, which makes it really hard to sell. But if you ask the right quiz questions, you'll get more details that you can then use to say, okay, this is where they're struggling. This is what they're most curious about. Oh, there's a big gap here. And now you can write marketing messages. You can create better products and programs, and you can really personalize the conversations that you're having via email with your community.
I love that, because you are also educating them, especially that example I'm guessing from the book that you just gave. She then let them kind of fill out which one they kind of fell into, and then educating them on, this is what else you can be, and this is how else you can grow. And
exactly.
So smart. I love it. So I had a question that I'm kind of we kind of answered it, because I was going to ask, what is your favorite way to generate leads? And I'm going to guess that it's quizzes.
It's a toss-up, actually. It's a toss for me between quizzes and webinars, because I'm a teacher at heart. I used to be a 5th grade teacher, corporate training. So I actually love teaching and engaging with people to help them answer their questions. Quizzes are kind of like the gateway to get people in, but love webinars and even interviews like this where we're getting to, have conversations. Those are my top 2. They tie each other, I think.
Okay. But your quiz easily could then go into your workshop, because again, you're teaching.
Absolutely.
And that's how you start your funnel to be able to go then. So quiz, workshop, and then probably a pitch for a course or a service towards the end.
Absolutely. And I had to do that. I figured that out by default because when I first launched my quiz, I got so many people trying to book calls with me. And I didn't have a sales team. I didn't even have an assistant, Jenny. And I could not literally take any more calls on my calendar. And so I had to put a webinar in place to better qualify people and filter them out. So I tell people all the time, when I first started doing this, I made a lot of mistakes. I spent $2,000 trying to figure out Facebook ads, and I did all this work. But now that I've perfected it, I don't worry about where my next clients are coming from. People take the quiz, then they're on my email list, but then most of them will sign up for the webinar that we do, or they'll join my Facebook community. And then when they join that webinar, 3-4 sales every single webinar, every single week. And our business is great. We had to actually bring on a team. So now I've got 3 people that are on my team helping me build out the quizzes that we do for clients because of that quiz.
That is amazing. And so much power to you, because you got in it as a solopreneur and figured it out and saw what worked and what didn't work. And now you're able to sell it to hundreds of people. Already I'm thinking, okay, I got to keep her on this call afterwards because I need to pick her brain about this because I think this is the perfect thing for my business. It's so smart. And I'm sure I am having so many people in my audience that are doing the same thing going, oh, how could I apply a quiz for what I offer? So let me ask you this. When you go from quiz to workshop, is workshop and webinar? I use workshop just because a lot of my people in my audience are like, webinar, ooh, that doesn't sound fun. So same thing. Paid or free for the webinar?
It's free.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's free. Yeah, because this is still new to a lot of people. And it's so funny. Like I started, like I said, my background is in corporate training. I started building online courses back in 1999. And, nobody was doing it and people didn't care. And I got really frustrated. I'm like, I'm not going to do this anymore. But now I'm at that same place with quizzes. I think quizzes are the new webinar. Webinars have exploded, in the last, 5 to 7 years, but they've been around for a while. And so, right now we're doing a lot of education around why a quiz works better than a traditional lead magnet. For example, it converts twice as well, right? So your traditional lead magnet is going to convert at maybe 15%, 20% if you're lucky. Quizzes, we've seen them convert anywhere from 30 to 60%. So what that means is for every 100 people that visit your site, 30 to 60 of those people will opt into your list, which is amazing. And that's why it's one of the fastest and smartest ways to generate leads.
Right. And then your quiz, we talked about organically putting it up on like your social platforms. We mentioned that you create content as well. Are you creating content where the quiz can easily kind of fall into that content on like for blog or podcast or whatever it might be as well?
Absolutely. So part of our strategy this year is to dominate via SEO and search, right? Like we really want to create more pillar content around quiz marketing, segmentation, return on investment, and all those things. And so within those blog posts, you're going to see the invitation for take the quiz or the invitation for join the webinar. And that's in content, promotion, which I'm sure, a lot of people in your audience know. But yeah, absolutely. We're using it in all of those content spaces, even in our articles on LinkedIn, right? Using that same strategy over and over again to saturate our audience with it so that it starts to stick.
Makes so much sense. You have an actual quiz that my people can go and take and kind of get a better feel for exactly how this kind of the tech wise works and how it actually they can go through it. We're going to link to that in the show notes. Can you tell us what that quiz will kind of walk them through?
Yeah. So this quiz, this is what marketing automation will speed up your sales. Right? Because that's what we want. We want the sales to happen faster. We don't want the slow trickle in. And when they take this quiz, they're going to get an email series, but they're also going to get a report. Like that's at our platinum level. We do that for folks. So you're going to get a custom report based on that automation. And again, it goes to those 4. Is it lead generation? Is it qualifying your leads? Is it nurturing your leads? Or is it your sales process? Like where do you need to automate for your business? And then you'll get a report that gives you some tips and some things to look out for. And of course, there's going to be a call to action to take that next step, which is join our webinar and learn more about it.
Love it. Yes. So we're going to link to that in the show notes. If you are driving though, and you want that quiz, what is your Instagram? Because my people are very used to DMing people. And that way we can send a DM directly to you and you can give them a link directly to it too.
Absolutely. So I'm Tai Goodwin, TAIGOODWIN. You can find me on Instagram. You can DM me. You can look at the link in my bio, and it has access to the quiz and to the workshop. So you can find all of that right from Instagram.
That makes it so easy. Where else are good places to connect with you? Obviously, Instagram. I found you on Clubhouse. That's where we met. Your Clubhouse handle is also Tai Goodwin, right?
It is. Yes. Yes, and we hang out on Clubhouse at least once a week. We're doing a conversation around the best way to generate leads. We talk about generating leads with ClickFunnels or Instagram, or what do you say when you get in somebody's DMs, right? That's a good conversation that we've had. I'm also on Facebook. On Facebook, there's a group called the Marketing Huddle. And I share some of my best and favorite tips and resources in that community. So those are the places you can find me.
Okay. We are going to link to all of those in the show notes. Tai, I appreciate you so much for taking the time to speak to my audience. And I'm actually wrapping up, I feel like faster because I want to pick your brain now after we're done
with this interview. So for all of you wondering what Jenny's going to do next, yes, I'm going to probably start doing quizzes. And we'll go from there. But thank you so much.
Thank you. This was so much fun. I really, really enjoyed this conversation.
Perfect.
All right. Well, there you have it. I clearly wanted to end the interview so that I could pick her brain about how to use quizzes, and am super excited to be able to get to work with Tai with her expertise that she has about using quizzes in your marketing automation. Like I said in the beginning, if you'd like to see her quiz, please send me a DM at Jenny_Melrose, or you could send it directly to Tai at Tai Goodwin. It's TAIGOODWIN. You can send her a direct message on Instagram and ask for that quiz link so that you can test it out and see what it looks like. I appreciate you guys always for listening in. If you haven't already left a podcast review, I would so appreciate it if you took the time to fill it out. It helps to get amazing guests like Tai to come onto the podcast. When they see the reviews, they know that there's an audience. They want to make sure that they are serving you. So if you could take the time to please fill that out, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, guys, until next time, I will see you all then.